What's up, guys, and welcome to this new series where we're starting to do horror stuff. And to kick off the horror, we're going to be starting with the most famous horror franchise of all time, Friday the 13th. That's right, we are ranking all 12 Friday the 13th movies. Hopefully, now that the lawsuit's over and Victor Miller won the case, we're going to get a new 13th Friday the 13th film soon. Maybe in like the next 5 or 10 years, and that's gonna be awesome if it is. But to start off, at number 12, the worst Friday the 13th movie is Jason Takes Manhattan. Most of the movie barely even takes place in Manhattan. None of the movie there's like a small fraction of that even takes place in the city. Small fraction of it that takes place in Manhattan. Most of it just takes place in a generic city, and half of it's on a freaking boat. I don't know why that's what this is. I don't know. This is Jason Takes Manhattan, not Jason Takes Yachts in generic cities. It's just a really bad movie. Jason's design looks really bland and generic. Overall, and there's not even really good kills. Nothing is good about this movie. But next is Jason X. Now, yes, it is it does have some pretty good kills, and it's in space, but Uber Jason is so stupid. Why would you take us 1,000, 10,000, whatever thousand years later? Why does Jason still exist at that point? The movie, it's not that good. Trust me, it's not. I would not recommend it. For Friday the 13th, Manhattan, don't watch that either. There's some stuff where I'd recommend it because it's a Friday the 13th movie, but for there's like 3 movies that are just bad, and honestly, Jason X is number 11 on this list. God, so stupid. Why would you go to space? Huh? Alright, next up is Jason Goes to Hell, the Final Friday, which is not the Final Friday. Final Friday, it's kind of like part 5, in which there's no Jason in it. I mean, yes, technically, in the first Friday the 13th movie, there was a Jason, but there wasn't a Jason. Jason didn't even exist yet. That was his mother, and we didn't even know who that was, so... But anyways, back to this actual movie. This movie, I didn't really like the whole possession thing. It was stupid, including having Jason as having family. Like, come on, why would you have him with some random people as family? Jason's design was pretty cool. I mean, look at this. That's cool, but I don't think that I saw what they were going for, and I get it. But they just executed it wrong. You know, like, you have to have more Jason in it. You're gonna intrigue us. You're gonna have us tricked in, make us expect to have Jason. But Jason's only there for like the first 5 minutes and the last 20 minutes. So most of the movie, it's just him possessing random people. And yes, I will admit, it does have one of the best kills in the franchise history, and we will get into the good kills later because we're going to do the top 13 Friday the 13th kills of all time. But that's for another day. For this day, Jason Goes to Hell is number 10. Number 9 is going to be Friday the 13th part 1, actually. Yes, I know it's the first one, it's a classic, all that good stuff, but this is supposed to be a whodunit, and the reveal at the end of having it be random mom of some random boy who drowned in some random lake. Come on, and these weren't even the teenagers who let him drown. Those were other people. I think for the reveal part of the whodunit, it was not good. Now I will admit, for 1980, Tom Savini did a very good job with making the kills for this. But all in all, other than the arrow scene when Pamela Voorhees gets the arrow through the Kevin Bacon's neck from under the bed, that's a classic kill. But either way, it's the first one. That's the only thing that and the fact that the other three films are absolute garbage. But yeah, it's not as good as people make it seem. And next up is actually its sequel, Friday the 13th, Part 2. Now, this is more of a, okay, never mind, that's for a different one. This one, it's good. It has a lot of good different weapons, but having him all grown up, I mean, I think was it supposed to be whodunit? I haven't seen this movie in a while, but one good thing, though, this movie does have Paul Holt, and Paul Holt is a legend. And yes, the reason I'm saying it like that is because of James A. Janisse at Dead Meat. That dude is a legend, and anything funny, I will do that is him, and I will credit him for it. Paul Holt. Anyway, I liked Jason's design in this, like the bag head, although he looks too farmery, I think in 2009, they gave him a much better design. He looked pretty scrawny in this one. To be honest, yeah, he was kind of small. I mean, look at this. That's not the big, bulky, beefy, big dude that we all know and love. What is that? What is that? What is that? He's got no muscle tone. He has nothing. I don't like it. It's just not a good design. I like what they were going for, and the kills, not the kills, but the weapons were awesome, yes. And yes, the iconic scene with the twofer stabbing them through the bed, that is iconic. And we had one of the best final girls in the franchise, but it's just mid. It's one of the more forgettable Fridays. Next up is, let's see, hold on. I don't even remember my list. I'm gonna go with number 7. It's gonna be Part 7, actually. Yeah. Part 7 of New Blood. Now, there is actually a lot more good things about this movie than the past ones. A lot of good weapon uses. Like, look at this. Weed whacker, machete, axe, knife, whatever that thing is, sickle, leaf cutter, branch thing. I don't know what that is, but it's cool. And I will say, by far, I don't care what you say, I don't care who you are, but the frickin' Jason design in this movie is the best Jason has looked, does look, and ever will look, and you are never, ever gonna convince me otherwise. That exposed jaw, I mean, look at that. It's perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details. I know I just sounded like Homelander there, but I could not care less. Jason is absolutely freaking awesome in this. And one strange thing, though, having a telekinetic teenager, that's also another Dead Meat thing, I like what they were going for, and honestly, since this is, Friday the 13th, and it has Jason freaking Voorhees, a guy that freaking came back from the dead as a zombie, sure, if that can happen, then there can be a telekinetic teenager in this movie. In this movie. It is, this would actually be a lot higher on my list, but the thing that's keeping it down is the gore. There is no gore in this. Even the freaking weed whacker. Look at that thing. That's supposed to be an insanely powerful weapon. But all it is just a freaking just cutting him open, kind of? I don't know. Especially for the guy that we find dead. The guy that we're supposed to have dead. The one that we hate. The one that we wish would die all throughout the movie. we were just waiting and waiting for when that dude's gonna die. And then once we finally see that he's gonna die, once we finally see the weapon that he's gonna be used with, it's there's barely even any blood. I don't know. This movie would probably be top 5 for me if it wasn't for the lack of gore. Now, next up, on number 6 is Friday the 13th Part 3D. This, I think it was actually really good. One of the most iconic final girls in franchise history with Chris Higgins. And the maskless Jason design was pretty good. And, it is the film that introduced the hockey mask, the most iconic thing, you know? But it sucks because the 3D factor, it's just stupid. It feels like there's more 3D than it is movie, you know? It's like eyeball coming at ya, weird paper towel being put on the camera, yo-yo there just to be there, popping at ya, you know? It's just, I think they took the 3D thing a little bit too seriously, you know? Maybe that's me. I don't know. I don't like it. I really don't. Well, no, I like it. It's good. It has some pretty good kills, especially for that time, and it's the literal film that introduced the hockey mask, so it had to be high. And Jason's weapons of choice, they were good. Character kills, it was good. That one where the dude's standing on his hands doing a hand walk, and he chops him down right down the middle. That was a good kill. And the fire poker, that was fun. But I have to just, the 3D part, God, that was annoying. Number 5 is Part 5. This would, like I've said, there's a lot of stuff that drags these movies down. A lot of these movies would be absolute masterpieces if it wasn't for that one thing. And similar to Part 9, and, similar to Part 9, this one, it's like a mix of not having Jason in the first one and the 9th one. Which makes sense because it's right in the middle. It's not Jason, and it's a whodunit. So it's very similar to Friday the 13th, the original, but it's Roy Burns. Who even is that? What does that even mean? Roy Burns. Some random dude that we see like once in the entire freaking movie with blue hockey marks. And look, all I'm gonna say is when the main killer who shows up once in this movie and as a dream sequence, and he is cooler than you in that movie, you've got a lot to do, which sucks for you, cause you died in the movie. Suck it, Roy Burns. But other than Roy Burns, this was actually a really good movie. It had some really good kills. I guess yes, until it was revealed the whodunit factor was pretty cool. Although, again, I don't like having whodunits in a film series where we already know who the killer is. So, yes, it is pretty good, and it somehow made top 5 for one of the more of my not liked movies, or for one of the worst killers. So that says a lot about the movie. Number 4 is Freddy vs. Jason. Freddy vs. Jason, there's a lot of bad parts about the movie, but the Freddy vs. Jason fight scene and all 3 of them, those are all good. And having that's mostly it. Freddy's, his abilities in the Jason world is cool. Seeing Jason versus Freddy, That's freaking awesome. That's something that fans have been asking for so long. Freddy vs. Jason is a kind of a bad movie, but there's a lot of awesome scenes and a lot of characters that you hope to die do eventually die, and it's one of Jason's best designs. Freddy is frickin' Freddy. There's not very many bad things I can say about this movie. Yes, a lot of it was stupid, but the fight scenes, man. And that rave scene, when he throws the flaming machete through Shaq, I mean, come on. There's no way you're going to tell me that you don't like the best horror crossover of all time. Fight me, I don't even care. And now for the top 3. Number 3 is going to have to be Part 6. I know that's a big frickin' thing. A lot of people are gonna get mad at me for saying that Part 6 is not the best one, or at least top 2. But it was really good. The zombie Jason thing, I didn't like it at first, but as I got used to it, I actually kind of liked it. I mean, why not? He's already survived drowning. And he's already a swamp boy who's killing people, and a hockey mask, and all sorts of stuff. But this is the end of the Tommy Jarvis trilogy, which is sad, because Tommy Jarvis, other than Jason, Tommy Jarvis is my favorite character of Friday the 13th history. He's cool. And yes, I know Tommy Jarvis was in the 5th one, but he's barely in it, and it makes us think that that Tommy Jarvis could actually have been the killer in Part 5. But we're not here to talk about Part 5. We're here to talk about Part 6. Jason Lives is really good, like really good, and it's the only Friday the 13th scene that does not have nudity, and that's good. And the kills, those are also good. A lot of stuff about this movie is really good. But there's just too much. But these next 2 films, in my opinion, are absolute masterpieces and gifts to our universe and the film franchise. And speaking of, number 2 is Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter, the last living scene of Jason Voorhees, the last time that he's a living human being, if you can call him that at least. He is really good in this movie. Great kills. I mean, Jason's death is cool. Tommy Jarvis in this movie is awesome. In this movie, it's just good. Watch the movies for yourself. Watch all 12 of them. I don't recommend some of them, especially the ones I put on the bottom. But these are really, really, really good movies. Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter, is really good because it has the death of Jason. That's something that you don't expect. I mean, it does happen like 5 other times in the franchise, but still. It's cool. And Tommy Jarvis, great thing. He's a gift to our universe. He had a pretty good design. Good weapons. I mean, having a saw, the bone saw, that corkscrew kill, stabbing him in the hand. Come on. It's good. Jason's maskless design, in my opinion, Jason without his mask in this one is the best Jason design without the mask that we've ever had in the franchise. That is just too good. The machete to the side of the head. Really good. Really freaking good. But nothing, and I mean not a single frickin' thing, will ever top Friday the 13th, 2009. It is my favorite horror movie of all time. It has really, really, really good kills, classic jerk characters that you can't wait to die, and they die in the worst ways. Good for us, bad for them. A stab in the head, pull her up. An arrow in the freaking head, and getting the bolt in the head, yes, the stab, that was kind of bad. But Jason's death in this, getting his head grinded up, that was freaking fantastic. Everything about this movie. There is not a single bad thing about this movie, except the fact that it goes a little excessive in the nudity part. And by a little, I actually mean a lot. They definitely went overboard. I don't think that having that much nudity was required. It's a Friday the 13th, so it has to be at least a sex scene or a nudity. But you didn't have to go that far. It was good. It was really good. I don't know what this is. Friday the 13th, 2009 tried and failed to revive Jason Voorhees. That movie was amazing. Having Jared Padalecki as the main dude, great idea. These characters, great. I know he only used one weapon, but I don't care. Jason had a really good design with the leather jacket. Having his bag head was absolutely awesome. In the first part, the 25 minutes, that was sick. The Mask reboot was cool. Having him as a survivalist, that's another thing. This movie had Jason, not only was Jason smart, but Jason was fast. He was running, and not just kind of running like in part 2, 3, and 4. He was full on booking it. He was going frickin' Usain Bolt level. That dude could move. He's probably faster than you. The kills are so good. Stabbing him in the freaking, just slicing him open. So many good freaking things about this movie. I can't say enough good things about this movie. And the fact there's only one bad thing about this movie, that says a lot. A lot. This movie is so freaking good. But with all that being said, I think that's going to be it for this episode of horror, I guess. Horror, movie rankings, Friday the 13th, whatever this is going into, it's going to be a good freaking series. There's going to be a lot more horror stuff coming up, and there's going to be some Friday the 13th, the game gameplay, so be on the lookout for that. But, see you on the next episode of whatever I'm doing. Bye!